Welcome to Our Energy Matters with Anthony Manna and Dena Marie. Aloha.
Aloha to you too. Here we are. Episode number 53, folks. Oh, let me first say bonan tagon to our Esperanto speaking viewers out there. This is our 53rd episode of Our Energy Matters. And it's the coming together each week of sharing our lives, our journey, and wondering how we fit and how we can help one another. And usually, for me, it all started about 2 years ago now, believe it or not, when I first was introduced to Dena Marie's book, which I'll give you the title of in just a little bit here, but it's those delicious crystals on the front say a lot about this healer who wrote this book, Dena Marie. And then what I usually do is I reach into that book each time, and it's really a bottomless well of wisdom. Let me put it that way. And then I come up with a piece of writing each time. And this time, I decided to have, you'll see, a little bit of fun with this. And I will begin by saying my friend and soulmate is an angel-blessed spirit, mentor, counselor, confidant, tutor, teacher, and guru. I christened her Magic Lady of West Coast Currents in the spirit of her riding the calm and storm, riding high the phenomenal winds, nurturing the safe being of seekers who come to her for her ordained power to protect, emerge, transform, and rediscover their soul light, their spirit light in the presence of a brilliant epiphany. I say, messaging them with this blessing. Here's the blessing that I come back to, and I just love this every time. I mean, I extracted from your book and made this, and it says, because I felt like this is what you told me early on when I was first getting to know you and I was so stuck. You are the worthy one. You are the color of all you need to be now and now, forever. Alleluia, alleluia. So folks, that's it. And it was like the color of all you need to be because of the crystals. And I'll tell you about that a little bit. Allow me to introduce you to this sanctified healer as I traverse pathways through her consecrated book, rapturously called Our Energy Matters, The Art of Crystal Reading, How to Manifest Your Heartfelt Intentions. My heartfelt intention in these fleeting moments here and now is to call forth her refined network of crystal, color, chakra guidance as she assumes the role of a celestial alchemist, a rescuer fired by a hunger, an insatiable yearning to fathom the depths of goodness, to liberate souls and selves from arid, desiccated desires, waning creeds, dying gospels, dead dogmas, and restore these souls to a wellness marked by serenity, community, godness, goddessness, spiritness, alive to a rapid succession of choices and glorified intentions. Welcome to the Celestial Arts Quiz Show, hosted by Anthony L. Manna, also known, if you go to my website, you'll see I'm also known as Professor Grandpa Tonio, the book guy and the writing guy. And my contestant, calling Dena Marie, celestial alchemist, angelic hostess, come forth and illuminate our listeners and viewers curious at your threshold about your passionate belief in drinking from the wellspring of the energy of open-heartedness, touched, anointed by joyful mind to ride the rising tide of enlightened soul search. In your book, Dena Marie, you introduced the power of chakras. Why do you call them energy centers in the human body?
Wow. First of all, I got to tell everybody when I met you, you had writer's block. And then you started coming up with all these amazing writings and the celestial arts and all these things I have never pondered. God, it just, the words, and I'm a triple Gemini. So when you read, you just take me, it's like painting a picture and I'm just right there with you the whole time. That was beautiful, first of all. Didn't know we were going to do a quiz. Okay.
I know, it's a surprise.
Surprise energy. So say that the question again.
The question is, you and I'm quoting right from your book, you said that the chakras are energy centers in the human body.
And so as a child, I felt energy, like when you go into a house and it doesn't feel good, or, like I go to the woods and it did feel good. There's energy. So I was very sensitive and empath, you probably more than likely. And I sensed light beings, which they're angels. We call them angels, messengers. And so a kid, I was really sensitive to energy, good energy, bad energy. I knew I didn't want to meet with some people, but they were family members. So you had to, it didn't feel good. That was energy. So when I discovered the chakras and they told me about, the crown chakra, the brow, crown, all these, the heart chakra. Oh gosh, you can feel the heart chakra, the energy. Like when you and I are talking, how your heart opens, and when you're with people you can't talk to, how it closes. So energy, and the chakras really are more in depth. I make it playful and fun so anyone can do it because I worked with kids. That's how it started, me and my kids, and energy. So I just always sensed energy, and I love teaching it because our energy does matter. It does matter. And like we were talking the other day, if my energy is low, I have low spirits, I'm thinking bad thoughts, I'm going to places I don't really want to be, like a job I don't like, your energy starts to wane, it fades. And if I'm outside in nature with my grandkids, it grows. So I think for me, energy is something I can see. I know it's not, but I can sense it, I can feel it. And then the world around you, you can see it. So that's the matter, the physical world.
Yeah, it's wonderful to hear you. And I mean, I think the thing is, what's so good about this too is that, and I'm going back to one of my favorite parts of the book, which is the chakra cheat sheet, where if you follow here, you go from 1 to 7, so you're going through 7 realities, let's say, of energy, and you wind up here to know thought, and that's the crown chakra, and so I mean, you lead us in your book through all of these very purposefully and not abstractly. That's the thing I love about it. It could be very abstract in a sense because it is in a sense metaphoric, but what you do is you illuminate them in such a way that you say, look, when your crown chakra is blocked or out of sync or whatever, or broken, you'll say what?
Well, I'll give you a prescription. Something you think of a kinked hose, the water hose, right? You kink it so the water doesn't come through. A lot of people have kinks in their throat chakra. For instance, when I met you, you weren't socializing. People couldn't get out and be themselves, and you were being kinked in your throat, and also your power chakra. So you had 2 kinks, and it was building up into your heart. So you think about here and here, and then the hose. What happens? It builds. So I've got to get some relief to you. So you and I started talking. Talking's a great way to talk about how you feel, to get these going. Empowerment, I think, came when you started writing and you read to me. That was like, that's something you had control over, was your writing. And so those are like prescriptions and all. And sometimes these are kinks from lifetimes, like you were in the monastery and you couldn't talk and you couldn't express yourself and you had to look down. So it's certain habits, and that's where the hypnotherapy came in. You'd find that place, like eating disorders, oral fixations. Gosh, self-love, that was a huge one. Getting people to look in the mirror so that they could open their heart again and love themselves from years of abuse, that self-worth. But it's so interesting when I was writing the book, how they each connect to each other. So a man talking about his feelings, how that tunes up the throat chakra and the heart chakra. And you and I have great conversations, and it really got us through some rough times, but that's a prescription, right? Or burning your journal.
Burning my journal. And those are, and when you talk about the prescriptions, I mean, the fact that you have 2 pages in your book filled with prescriptions for each of the chakras. I mean, I go back to them all the time, you know, and when I recently found a journal, I didn't even know it was on my shelf, and it was a little tiny, one of those little tiny books. And I started paging through it, and there were some really, some very dark memories, you know, and I thought, I don't want to go back there, you know. And I mean, even, not even, but likely is Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist priest, the Buddhist healer, in a sense, says, you don't always have to go back. You know, it's over with now, and you can move on. You can treat it differently, you know. And he doesn't talk about burning the pages, but you have, and it's been delightful, really, because it's like a, you know, it's like that the idea of the smoke, you know, rising up and just dissipating, you know, and taking all those memories with them. In your book, see how quickly I'm going into my quiz mode. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the host, and she now is going to say, I say, Dena Marie, in your book, you introduce the power. No, I'm sorry. In your book, what did you mean when you wrote, colors have their own specific meaning correlating to their respective chakras? Colors. I mean, I mean, where else do you pick up a book and you go to a page and it says colors at the top of the page? And I'm thinking, what? What about colors? What about colors?
Well, at first I used the crystals and the colors, but I could read someone's closet. I just put all the colors together like a rainbow, and I can do a reading with the closet. And if your closet's full of black, we're going to do some work. Okay. But you know, if you're missing yellow, I'm going to make you wear something yellow, whether it's a crystal or something, because you need to get your power back. But the colors speak to me. So my kids are in my book, how Mikey's always drawn to baby blue. That's his color. April's pink. And that goes with him. He's very kind, gentle, but he's all boy, right? He loves sports, but he'll cry. I mean, he's very sensitive, baby blue. And then my daughter, she's pink. She's the mom now. Now that we're all older, she's got the house. She makes the dinner. She's super feminine. And then my other daughter, it was always like tiger's eye. She's an Aries. You know, that's how we describe my daughter, the Aries. But you know, that's kind of where I was before I even did hypnotherapy, before I did the chakras. I was doing color. I was doing readings with color. Walk into someone's house, you know, if it's really dark, you know, they need to turn the lights on and get some red, something bright.
Something bright. Yeah. And there's one part of your book which I love so much, when you say, when a client, why call your clients seekers? When a seeker comes to you, often you can just look at their clothes, look at their, you know, what they're wearing, to kind of get a sense of who they are as far as their personality goes, or where they are in their life, you know. And I found that to be intriguing. So
when I was doing Reiki, I'd have someone on the table and I'd go by their throat chakra, and I would notice they have a turquoise necklace on, and I would start to choke up. And so all I would say to them is, go back to a time in your life when you couldn't express yourself. Can't even tell you the magic that came from that. And they don't even have to tell me what they're going through. But that's a lot of the oral fixation people. And they would go in their mind through this episode with someone from their past, and they would find their voice in their mind. I don't know what's going on. And then they would tell that person and put their foot down. And then they'd come out of it and they say, wow, I feel like you burning your journals. I feel powerful again. Like I never thought I could go back in the past. And I call it time travel. You go to the past, you see the incident, you go to the future, you see what you learned from it. And then you take that lesson and incorporate it right here, right now. And be proud of yourself for doing the trip.
That's right. That's right. There's so much healing there. You know, and I think part of that also is just the notion of being kind to oneself. You know, I find that to be very liberating. I mean, I can say it to myself in the morning, you know, because you say, your title is all about heartfelt intentions. And that has become a standard for me, is to, and I sometimes I forget, and I don't want to forget, that I need to say in the morning, what is my intention? And sometimes my intention is simply to say, relax, and don't take everything so seriously, laugh a little, or call my son, or whatever. I mean, just something, but it's a kind of guide, for living out a day. And I really like that a lot. It's been a good practice for me. Your crystals become spiritually endowed manifestations of selfhood. What did you mean when you wrote, quote, "It is helpful to take note of feelings and thoughts surrounding the choosing of each of your crystals"? That's the end of quote. Why is that so important in the healing practice?
Well, you brought up about the little boy who I asked to pick a rock out for me at the very beginning of our relationship, about the little boy who was picking all these blue stones. And he was at a curiosity shop in Seattle. And then I turned around, and his dad turned around and I said, "Oh, pick me a stone for my rocks and I'll buy it." And he picked a pink stone. So when you're really being true to yourself, you'll pick a rock, and then some people say, "Oh no, I'm going to put that one back." It's usually tiger's eye. It's like they really want to assert themselves. They really want to take back their power. Yet if someone's in the room, they'll try to please that person, especially in relationship readings. But it's that, how do I feel? If something feels good, choose that. That means everything in life, not just the rock. But don't choose something to please other people, because you're not being yourself. You're being not authentic. You're being false. What's it when you're not authentic? You're being a phony. You're trying to please people for all the wrong reasons, because there's only one person. And this isn't selfishness. You die alone. This is your life and your journey. And when you go, your energy goes with you. If you feel at peace, rested, and loved when you pass, or angry, betrayed and just frustrated, that's another energy.
Yeah, that's so true. And I hear lately I've been listening to Pema Chodron, who's another Zen Buddhist. She's a nun, and she's talking a lot about how we lead ourselves to death, and we can either be frightened by it, we can either be totally wanting to avoid it, and then she talks at length about what we might do in order to arrive at that place in simplicity and in acceptance. And although I find it very difficult, I'm still working on it. Anyway, and I think that's part of the process of learning in our lifetime, is to learn that everything dies. And it's
and each chakra has an emotion or a feeling. Joy, that love, those things, that's what we came here to do. That's really what we came here to do, is enjoy, love, and be with people we can talk to, and dance and sing. That's what tribes were at one point. We were all gathered in a circle telling stories.
That's it. And also, just as I say, when I burn these pages, I'm going to do a dance. I mean, I love to I'll be in the woods, and I could care if anybody sees me, but I mean, the point is that that's what I have to do, because I want that smoke to go away, up and away. Let's continue with our celestial arts quiz, folks, in our next episode. We're on a roll. I love this. I'm so happy I came up with this idea.
I was nervous because you're a teacher, and I was like, I don't know the answer.
It's going to be on the final.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's good though. So that the celestial arts quiz, I really like it. I think because I mean, it's that reciprocity we're talking about, that I can hear you and I can respond to you in a way from what I'm learning in your book. So I say to everyone out there, want to move closer to Dena Marie's wisdom, then listen to her weekly radio show, Lift Your Spirits, on 1150 AM KKNW. You'll find the link there and information about her show on her website, dena-marie.com. She's also very active on Facebook, daily chakra insight into chakra energy, blockage, and prescription. And we'll talk about blockage some other time too. That's really important. There are startling photographs of her life on the island where she lives out west. And it's and also information about her workshops and courses. My website is anthonymanna.books.com. And for a minute there, I couldn't remember. Anyway, and there you'll find interviews there. And one of the interviews is with Dena Marie on my website's media section called Podbean Podcasts. My website is also available to anyone who is concerned about children, their reading and their writing, because that's what my website is all about, from children going all the way up through teenage life. Dena Marie, thank you.
Thank you, Anthony Manna. It's always a joy.
It's always a joy. Yes, absolutely wonderful. And we'll talk real soon. And thank you so much. Bye-bye. Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody. Bye. Bye-bye.